Prof, thank you so much for your time. This is such an amazing story. Talk to us about this condition. How does craniopagus twinning occur and how rare is it?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. So, craniopagus twins are a form of conjoined twins, or as some people, certainly in the older days, used to call them Siamese twins, based on a famous pair of twins from Siam, or Old Siam, that became very famous as a traveling show. But they are, the proper term is conjoined twinning, and essentially the theory behind what we think happens is that it's a single fertilized egg that then gets only partially separated. And the connection between the two parts of the egg persists in various forms. So that may lead to children being born connected at different parts of the body, so including the head, the chest, the abdomen, the pelvis, and the spine as well. And they all have different names. And craniopagus is the name given to the ones that are joined by the head. Also happens to be the rarest form of conjoined twinning. And conjoined twinning on its own, the whole spectrum of them, of course, is a rare condition in general. So they occur in about 1 in 200,000 births. And of those, half of them are stillborn, so they don't survive the birth. And of the ones who survive, another half will never make it to separation. So it's only 25% of them that make it to separation. And of those, as I say, craniopagus is the least common. They're about 5%. So across the world, it's always an event when children are born with craniopagus, when craniopagus twins are born and when they get separated. So in South Africa, it's a rare phenomenon. It's completely random, of course, but on average it would come around once every 15 to 20 years.
It must be such a traumatic situation for the mum and dad to deal with. This operation, I understand, happened in February. And the two little girls, how old were they when the operation took place? And tell us about the team setup. I believe each little baby had her own team.
Yeah, correct. So they came to us when they were 4 days old. So when they were born, the neurosurgeon in East London gave me a call and asked to transfer the kids over for our specialist management. And then we spent a couple of weeks planning the operation, and then we separated them in as you said, a multidisciplinary team. That's one of the advantages of working at an institution like Red Cross Children's Hospital. It's a great team of people with a diverse set of skills, and all who function at the highest level in their particular profession. And the particular groups, of course, were the surgeons. So those were us as pediatric neurosurgeons, the pediatric plastic surgeons led by Professor Sally Adams, the pediatric anesthetic team, and then the pediatric nurses, as well as the pediatric ICU, because they have to be cared for after the operation, and the high care units are ward. So wherever children with conjoined twinning are separated, it always takes a very large team, a huge amount of preparation, and getting very decent imaging of the brain in this case to plan the surgery. And if you plan it very well, and then again by the grace of God, and depending on how the heads are joined, one can end up with a very successful separation like this.
I understand it was not as lengthy as you'd feared, the operation, because there isn't actually any brain matter that the little girls shared. So that is a little bit of luck. I have to ask, though, how difficult the op was. It happened in February. And how are these two little darlings doing?
Yeah, so by the nature of many of the things that we do, it wasn't the most technically challenging thing, but it's always incredibly challenging anyway, and incredibly satisfying to be able to separate conjoined twins. It's something that the public finds fascinating. It's something that we as surgeons find fascinating as well, because you get to operate on two people at the same time, and you get to separate them. And if you get it right, and again, if the anatomy allows, you get to separate two people who then go on to be completely independent, functioning people. And so, as I said, we were fortunate in that they didn't share brain, and they did, very importantly, didn't share some critical arteries and veins going between the two brains. So we had the opportunity to completely separate them and have the confidence that they are going to go on to develop as normal young children.
It's amazing. I'm looking at the pictures of their delighted mum and Tombi Kaise, who must just be absolutely overjoyed. Before I let you go, it is International Nurses Day, and you doctors and specialists are phenomenal, remarkable people for the work that you do, but I am sure that you would like to pay tribute as well to the nurses, the specialist nurses and the nurses that look after these children and have to have an extraordinary level of care.
Yeah, so I've known so many nurses over the years that I've worked with closely, and the amount of, the degree of dedication, particularly because they're by the bedside just all the time. And especially in really, really difficult conditions, and children in particular, children who are faced with potentially mortal, severe illnesses. It's a hard job, and very often a thankless one. And we know that they're not well supported. We know that they're not well paid, especially in the public sector. And so, by and large, they do the work because they love it. And so if I can pay any tribute to them on this day or any other, I'm always very, very glad to do so.
Well, we think you and your team are absolute stars. What a wonderful story. Congratulations, and thank you so much for taking time to chat to us this evening. That was Professor Anthony Figaji, Head of Pediatric Neurosurgery at the Red Cross Children's Hospital in Cape Town.